Good morning. My name is Jansen Sink, and over the course of this presentation, I will give you my proposed plan for the creation and development of our team of people here at JC's Restaurants, as well as give you my proposed plan on how to develop first, and maintain store and team efficiency and performance. Before I begin with that, I want to give just a little bit of basic background information into the company that I work for because it will help you better understand why I have created the team the way that I have. First of all, I am one of the executives here at JC's Restaurants. We are a small company, operating with about 12 stores right now, looking to expand to about 20 in the next 3 years. So moving very quickly, experiencing rapid growth. Our popularity has exploded in the region that we're operating in, so that's excellent to see. We are a quick service restaurant operating in the same field as places such as Chick-fil-A, Subway, restaurants such as that. Also, into just a little bit of background into our executive team. Our executives, so the CFO, the CEO, presidents of the company, vice presidents, from the very tippy top all the way down to the bottom, our executives are very highly involved. And that's one of the benefits of having a small company such as JC's, which means that as we experience this growth, the executives are very hands-on into each and every store. Um, However, our executives, myself included, are given the freedom to develop the teams that we want to create in the manner that we want to create them, as long as we meet the performance standards that are expected. While each restaurant does have certain criteria that they do have to meet, we are given very extensive freedom. We're given the ends to what we are supposed to create, but not the means, which gives us the freedom and the ability to work the team how we see fit, depending on the personnel that we have on hand. So going over my personal responsibilities as executive, I am the team leader of the store opening team. This is the team that goes and creates the new stores. Like I said, we're operating at about 12, hoping to get to about 20. So hoping to open 8 within the next 3 years. I am the executive in charge of that opening team. And like I said, the name of our restaurant is JC's. My task over the course of these next 3 years is to oversee the new store creations, and that particularly relates to the creation and development of the leadership teams there. My goal is to come in and within a couple of months be able to step back and let the leadership team take control of the store, managing their performance rather than the leaders themselves. In order to do that, I do have to manage store success and growth. If I'm not meeting my key performance indicators, then my team isn't operating correctly, and so I'll have um, certain adjustments that will have to be made. So that is part of my job as team leader on this project. And the final thing that I am responsible for is the development and implementation of the team purpose. Our purpose as a leadership group and as a company is to show the love of Christ to each patron. We are a Christian company and we are based on Christian standards. And what we want to do is not just create an environment in which people can get food quickly. We do, of course, want to be able to provide our customers with excellent food at great prices, and we want to offer it to them as quickly as possible. But our ultimate goal is to just show them the love of Christ, whether that's through customer service, food quality, you name it. That's our purpose. So my goal as a leader of this team is to make sure that both my high level leaders, the store manager, all of his assistants, and all the way down to the lowest team members understand and are bought into that purpose because that's really what gives a team motivation. Obviously, we understand that each team member will bring their own motivations into the restaurant, and we highly encourage that because it's these motivations that push them to be above and beyond the set standards for that position. However, as we are hiring, we want to make sure that we are hiring people that are bought into that purpose. Actually, I really like what Simon Sinek suggested when he said that people don't buy what you're doing, right? It's not the product that you're offering, it's the purpose behind it. People are bought into your why. That's what he postulated in one of his videos, and that's always stuck with me ever since I've heard it. And that's why when I hire my store executives, my leaders, the general manager, the assistant managers, the team leaders, from the very top all the way to the bottom, my goal is to hire individuals that are already bought into that purpose, at least on some level. Even though they're going to bring in their own ideas and their own motivations, which again we highly encourage, ultimately the store purpose has to be their purpose as well, because people buy into why you're doing something, not the product that you're offering. And I put on there that hiring, this is an incredibly important part of my responsibility because I'm either going to be limited by the personnel that I have on hand or I'm going to be propelled to success. It's all about the quality and caliber of the individuals running the restaurant because at the end of the day, I can't be in the restaurant 24/7. I'm not a micromanager. That's not my position. My position is to create the store and let it take off. Right? So I have to make sure that my team is bought into this purpose and that they are strong self-motivated individuals that will make sure that they take responsibility for the store and for their team members. So taking a look at the team itself, I wanted to give a quick insight into how I plan to create the hierarchy of the store. First and foremost, I put myself there. I'm the executive in charge of the store, which means that at least until the team is up and operational and a new district manager steps in to take over my role, the all of these leaders will report directly to me. Okay. That being said, each store in JC's restaurants has one singular general manager or store manager. This is the top level position within the store. This individual is responsible for overseeing the entire store. And we'll get into each and every one of their roles individually in just a moment, but understand that store manager is the individual that's responsible for the store and its success. So there's a lot of pressure on this particular position, which is why the assistant managers column has four individuals in it. These individuals are responsible for the same thing that the store manager is responsible for, divided up responsibility, but ultimately they are there to help the store manager run and maintain the store. They're responsible for the shifts, they're responsible for team success. The store manager is responsible for managing them and the store success overall. Breaking that down a little bit further, each assistant manager, when they are on their shift, will have either a kitchen leader, will have both a kitchen leader and a service leader there to assist them as they go about their daily tasks to help make sure that the team members, which are your base level, entry level positions, um, each team member is set up for success and has a clear understanding of what they need to be doing and when they need to be doing it. Assistant managers being the one in charge of the shift can be spread pretty thin, which is why these kitchen leader and service leader positions are so important. They're the in-between step between team members and assistant managers, helping the assistants pick up some of the slack, especially when the restaurant gets particularly busy. So let's take a look at each one of the roles that I just discussed in the hierarchy and understand what their responsibilities are. First and foremost, like I said, the store manager has complete and utter control of the store itself. While I am the executive in charge, my goal is to create this team and develop it and then step back. Our executives at JC's are not hands-on. We take a step back and let our store managers run the store as long as they're hitting their key performance indicators, which is why the store manager has complete control. Now, their success is going to be evaluated through our key performance indicators, our KPIs. The store manager is responsible for monitoring and managing the success of the store based on how they are doing relative to those key performance indicators. So a lot of the store manager's responsibility is understanding how the team is performing and identifying key areas in which improvement is possible to make sure that those key performance indicators are trending in the proper direction. And I put an asterisk next to this next responsibility because ultimately this is the most important thing that the store manager is responsible for. The store manager is responsible for managing the leadership team. Like I said earlier, there are 4 assistant managers and there are both kitchen and service leaders that are a part of this team to ensure that each shift goes smoothly, all state and federal regulations are being met, and key performance indicators are being met as well. The store manager, while responsible ultimately for the success of the store, they are most importantly responsible for making sure that this leadership team is operating to its highest capacity, which means the store manager not only has to be an excellent leader of the store, but he has to be a leader of leaders. This is an intense responsibility, which is why we're putting a lot of stock into who we hire for that. And ultimately, the last thing on here is that store managers will report directly to me for the time being. Like I said, once the store is operational, I will begin this process again anew in a new store, and a district manager will take my place. So the store manager will report directly to them. Taking a look at the assistants, that's a lot of responsibility on a store manager, which means that we had to create a way in which the store manager isn't faced with more than they're able to handle, right? That's a very easy way to create burnout. Even the most capable individual can only handle so much at one time. It's just natural human limitations, which is why we've created a team of 4 assistant managers. These assistant managers will rotate in their schedule. They're responsible for both morning and evening shift, where we're not divided that way. We're divided more by responsibility. Okay, so each assistant manager is ultimately responsible for the success of a shift when they're on it. So whether they're coming in the morning or whether they're coming in at night and closing the store, they're responsible for the ultimate success of the shift as well as managing the money that is taken in. Those are the ultimate things that each assistant manager has to worry about when they're on their shift. However, like I said earlier, the ultimate success of the store falls on the store manager. But that's so much responsibility that we have given each assistant manager 1 to 2 roles in which they are responsible for making sure is properly maintained and ensuring the efficiency of each area. The first assistant manager will be responsible for hiring and also for managing the roster. So this means that can include things such as, hey, we're about to enter our busy season. We need to hire 3 more individuals. They're in charge of interviewing and hiring those individuals. This can also mean if someone is not working out as a team member, if they're not meeting the standards that are set by the corporate office, then this manager is responsible for letting that individual go, taking care of all things legally, such as hiring paperwork, making sure everything is filled out properly, tax documents, managing the systems. That is what the first assistant manager is responsible for. Now, that can be quite overwhelming, which is why the store manager is responsible for everything so that they can step in and help out when necessary. The second assistant manager is responsible for product ordering. This is maintaining the truck schedules, making sure that they understand how much product we have on hand, making sure that the proper amounts are being ordered so that we don't have too much product or not enough product on hand, as well as maintaining the store, whether that be cleanliness of the store, um, parts that have gone down, making sure that we get the proper technicians to come out and replace those parts or fix those machines. They're responsible for all of that. Now this particular assistant manager will have certain team members that are responsible for things such as maintenance. We'll have a maintenance individual, and will be assisted with the product ordering by the store manager. However, they are ultimately responsible for the success of both of those areas. The third assistant manager will be responsible for scheduling the employees, the regular team members. Our general policy is the schedule has to come out at least 3 weeks in advance. If team members need to ask off, they can do that um, specifically with this assistant manager. They're responsible for creating that schedule and maintaining it, whether that be dealing with callouts or personnel issues. If the first assistant manager has to let somebody go, the third assistant manager is responsible for making sure that shifts are covered. They're responsible for making sure that we are staffing each shift to the proper levels. As well, since they are ultimately responsible for the team's um, success while they're on their shift, they will be responsible for doing employee reviews, and we'll do those within 60 days for their first review of their hiring date, as well as yearly reviews after that, and any additional reviews as deemed necessary, whether that be for promotion or um, employee evaluations. Finally, the fourth assistant manager will be responsible for maintaining the store metrics. As I mentioned earlier, there are certain key performance indicators which will deem the store itself as either a success or a failure. Okay, this assistant manager is responsible for updating all of the goals, all of the number boards. They will be responsible for monitoring how we are doing throughout the month so that the store manager isn't surprised when they open the results for the monthly review. As well as this manager will also be responsible for implementing any new systems that come up. When working in the quick service industry, things change very rapidly. We live in a very changing world. We are not stagnant, and only businesses that are able to adapt to these new changes are able to maintain success. Those that fail to adapt to these changes ultimately will fail as a business because the world, like I said, the world never stops moving, which is why this assistant manager is responsible for understanding the world around them and maintaining the success of the store, no matter what that looks like. So that may mean that they may have to implement new systems and make sure that the team is all on board when they implement these new systems. One thing that we learned throughout the work of this course is that when you make changes, there is an equal ratio between the amount of change and the need to get the team all on board. This assimilation of the team. That's what assistant manager number 4 is responsible for. Ultimately, the store manager is responsible for all of those areas, but he has assistant managers which are able to take some of the pressure off. He's more responsible for managing them and their success. Taking one more step down the ladder, each assistant manager, when they're on their shift, given that they have so much to concern themselves with, will be given both service leaders and kitchen leaders. We'll divide our restaurant into two, the service side and the kitchen side. These leaders will be responsible for maintaining the regular team members that are on each shift and making sure that the shift is running smoothly. If there is an area that needs help, they'll be the first ones to jump in. Of course, the assistant managers will help make sure that each shift is running properly, maintaining success. But these leaders are responsible for the hands-on responsibilities of the team, whether that be service or kitchen. Finally, you have the team members, and this is one of the most important pieces that we have because, like I said earlier, a team is either limited or propelled to success by the team that they have set up, which means that the team members that we have on hand must be of the highest quality, which means the assistant manager and the store manager that are in charge of hiring must remember to hire individuals that are bought into the purpose. Because like I said earlier, people buy why you do something, not what you do. So this is one of the most important positions that we have. They're responsible for the hands-on, day-to-day, everyday tasks of the store, whether that be taking orders, creating the food, fill in the blank from A to Z. That's their responsibility. The leaders are there to ensure their success and create positive work environments in which these team members can excel. Ultimately, the success of the store will be rated on how the store is able to interact and meet their key performance indicators. Now, one important thing to understand about the way JC's operates is that our executives evaluate the store both on a monthly basis and a yearly basis. Monthly, we're able to get a snapshot into how the team is operating at the current moment. And then at the end of the year, we take a step back to say, how did you perform this year? And how did that performance relate to the previous years? So that we can gauge whether the team is trending in the right direction as a whole or whether they're trending in the wrong direction and we need to make certain adjustments, whether that be to the team or to our processes. So that will be evaluated both on a monthly basis and a yearly basis. Another important thing to mention is that both the executives and the store managers will be doing this. Store managers are responsible to make sure that their team is operating to the fullest possibilities, which means that they must keep an eye on these key performance indicators. And if they're not meeting them, they'll need to make changes within their restaurant. The executives will also be taking a look and talking directly with the store manager on things that they see. Ultimately, I put three of our key, excuse me, I put our three most important key performance indicators on here. While there are other indicators that we use to gauge success, these are probably the most three and most telling indicators that we have, especially for our new stores. The first one there is customer count. This is especially important for our new stores as we're able to see, are you creating a name for yourself in the environment that you're operating in? Does the community know who you are? Are they impressed with your service? Are they, creating more opportunities for you to impress their friends and their family? How are you able to get more people through the line quicker? This gives us a great idea on how the community is interacting with the business. So our percent change goes, like I said, from month to month and year to year. That's how we'll evaluate that. How much are you either increasing or decreasing in terms of percentage? As well, we'll be very concerned with the sales percentage. Are we selling more each month than we did the previous month, or ultimately year to year? Because we do understand that, especially in the retail market, there are seasons. And so while the sales may go down in certain months, ultimately this one will be mostly important on the year. Are we ultimately gaining more sales? Are we ultimately gaining more customers and more business and creating more revenue for the business? And finally, turnover ratio. Now, this one is incredibly important to understand, not for the success of, say, sales or customer counts or how we're doing in the community. This is a key performance indicator for the team itself. Are we creating, is my executive team, is my store management team creating an environment in which team members feel they can excel? Are they giving them the ends with no means? Are they giving them too much means? Are they giving them only means and no ends? All of this is very important, very telling into how we're creating that environment. Ultimately, this turnover ratio will give me a key insight into whether my store team is operating at its fullest capacity or whether they're creating detrimental environments to the restaurant. Ultimately, I gathered most of my resources from the reading material throughout this course. I also wanted to put in that piece from Simon Sinek, as I think it's incredibly pertinent to how we operate in our everyday business lives, as well as our personal lives, because people buy into you personally and through your business by who you are, what your purposes are. They're bought into why you're doing what you're doing, not necessarily what it is that you're doing. Ultimately, this is my plan to create and implement a new team within our new store. Hopefully, this has given you an insight into how the business operates and how we create these new teams. As I said, we are always changing and adapting, but given the freedom to create the team as I saw fit, this is my ultimate plan. Thank you.